Hey YouTube, doing a wee bit of a preemptive strike. This is Sunday. I've not done the live stream yet, but I think I'm going to be doing something interesting tomorrow. So this will be tomorrow's video, Monday. So this is, I did a video for this a couple of weeks ago, and the guy, when he came to pick it up, Pal Ian, instead of picking this up, dropped off another guitar and wanted me to swap pickups about. So the pickup in the previous, the bowling ball type Tele, the one with the sort of swirl finish on it, he didn't like the bare knuckle that was in that. It was like a Hot Rails, so he put an original Fender pickup in it, and the plan was he was wanted to see whether the original Fender one or a Samarium Cobalt Noiseless one was better. I put in the Fender one. I thought it sounded fantastic. Sent him a video. He said that's fine. So can you put the Samarium Cobalt Noiseless one in here? The neck pickup says Noiseless on it, so I'd imagine it's probably a Noiseless one as well. I kept saying Silurian, but I didn't know it was The Samarium Noiseless SCN was a subsequent line of stacked electric guitar and bass pickups. These are designed by Bill Lawrence with the goal of further reducing noise while improving the single coil tone of the pickup, and were fine-tuned by Fender, introduced in 2004, similar to the vintage Noiseless. But Lawrence's research into controlling magnetic eddy currents led him to employ miniaturized Samarium Cobalt alloy magnets instead of a Nico 5. I don't know what any of this stuff means. Samarium Cobalt is a rare earth magnet that is more powerful than the Nico. A standard equipment feature on the American Deluxe Series Stratocaster from 2004 to 2010. Were built for Tele and jazz bass, but are no longer manufactured. The SCN logo etched on the pickup covers. Maybe on the back. I think it said in the back what it was. It's not. It's in the front. Anyway, so they're noiseless single coil pickups. Some sort of stacky. Does it say something about stacky? Yeah, they're stacked pickups, which I have mixed feelings about. I do understand why people would want uncancelling stacked pickups, but to me they just don't sound as bright and as good as standard pickups. But if you've got any problems with noise or whatever, then they're miles better, because they won't just be screeching in here at reasonable volume. Playing through my wee Laney VC15 that's running through those 3 speakers. I will shout out when I stomp on pedals. So, bridge pickup. Yeah, this is just a partscaster. I've set it up. It's done quite well. The string, I should have put these strings on it, but I'm too cheap. So I'll let the owner put whatever strings he wants. I meant to say, Ian, your guitar's ready. It's been ready since last week. I just forgot to tell you. I didn't forget about the guitar. Well, I did forget about the guitar, but I forgot about it after I'd done it. It's like, yeah, right, something to do, done. And then it was earlier on today, I was moving about some stuff, and I was like, oh, I've not done a video on that Tele yet. So I put the other pickup in it. So, bridge pickup. Both pickups. Neck pickup. Yeah, so it's not a bad volume difference between the two. Quite often on Telecaster, the bridge pickup is much louder than the neck pickup. This one seems to be pretty good, so if I just stick on some drums, Moore drummer pedal. Digicheck Jam Man. Louder here. Should have known when I was in the backing track, turn the volume down a bit. You're not really hearing, because I'm using the same sound I was in the backing track, you're not really hearing it very loud. Try the Boss Overdrive OS2 for a bit of, not very much distortion, but some. You really change the stride, these are pure dead. Back on my favourite pedals, so the Joyo US Dream. Bridge. Stairway to Heaven solo playing over into it. Maybe not. Basic chords, and then bunch of my fuzz bass, which is my new favourite, and I use it all the time. yeah, so Teles are awesome. If you don't have a Tele, buy a Tele. Tele's kind of... I'm trying to think if I've really played a Tele I didn't like. Like, I'm not so keen on the... I'm a traditionalist when it comes to Teles. I like the metal scratch plate, the metal control plate. I like the bridge with the pickup built into it. That's kind of what my things for a Tele. I do have a few that are kind of maybe a bit different from this. I can see one behind me actually, although technically it's an Esquire, isn't it? But I think the ones I actually, okay, the Teles I don't like, well, maybe don't like the look. I'm sure they're great guitars. The ones that have the sort of Les Paul controls, you know, they get 2 volumes, 2 tones, and the pickup switches up here. Therefore, they've got a big, horrible, ugly scratch plate on them. I don't like them. But a Tele is a little bit like a P-bass, as in, well, in quite a few ways, as in this is the first ever electric guitar, solid body electric guitar, really. Okay, you could argue there were ones before, but this is the first major one, and the first bass was the P-bass, so it's kind of the first ever attempt at an electric guitar, breaking new ground all over the place, and it just works. And it's the same with the P-bass, so even they were kind of designed to be really cheap, the Tele. That was like, I think that's why it was so laughed at when it first came out, because people were used to spending, you know, buying handcrafted violin grade, you know, your Gibsons when they had some electrics out before and stuff like that, and then out came Tele. It's made of pine, it's got a bolt on neck, it's got bits from a telephone exchange in it. That's like, you can't use that, and it's like people loved it because it just had its own sound. Same with the P-bass. So it's like when you very rarely get P-basses that aren't very good, and you very rarely get Teles that aren't very good. One of the problems with Teles, though, I always find is they're dead hard to get. If I could get Teles as easy as I could get Strats, most of the Buckycasters would be Teles. It's just, you generally don't see Telecasters cheap. Even if you look in Guitar or whatever, wherever your local shop is, I think the Bullet Strat and the Affinity Strat, you can kind of get a Tele for the same price, new, but try and find a second hand one. You can find your Bullet Strats and your Affinity Strats, no bother, you can't find the Teles. Or if you can, they're like £20 less than a new one. I think there's something about a Tele. I think it's just because it's so workmanlike. I mean, I love them. I actually did a Tele Tuesday thing before I thought I'd do the trade thing, probably about a year ago, actually, probably exactly about a year ago. I think I managed to make it last for about 10 weeks. Of every Tuesday I would have a different Tele. I had a couple in for fixing, and I've got lots of them. They're just, in many ways, it's the best guitar, a Tele, and it's also one of the easiest ones to copy because it is a slab of wood cut with a jigsaw or a bandsaw if you've got a bandsaw, and then another piece of wood. I was going to say bolted on. It's not really bolted. It's just screwed on, isn't it? Those are just wood screws. So the bolt on neck is one of those things that I think. So I can't call it a screwed on neck. That sounds rubbish. Let's call it a bolt on. It's not really bolts. But that's fine. We'll call it bolt on because bolt sounds, oh, you bolted it on, whereas like screwed it on just doesn't sound as good. They're not bolts, they're screws. But like this one, I'm unsure about whether I want a Stratocaster headstock on a Tele. I only really noticed this when I was playing the video, so you can't see it when you're playing. As I said, I'm pretty sure this is a partscaster. It does have Fender tuners on it. Whoever put the tuners on wasn't being super accurate. They're a little bit wonky, but doesn't make them work any less good. That's just a case of, I think what's happened there is there's been screw holes from previous pickups that were, if they were like, you know, 5mm away from where the new screw holes are, that's fine, but I bet you they're right next to it. So it's one of those, you're trying to drill a hole so close to another hole that it doesn't want to drill, and you end up kind of just putting the screw into the original hole. I think that's what's happened. But fantastic. And the Samarium Cobalt noiseless pickups, yeah, I mean, I guess there's no noise if I stick the first pedal on and hold it up to the, yeah, not really, there's not as much noise as there would be if they weren't noiseless, if that's your thing. I think it very much depends on what it is you're trying to do with it. I think the chap who owns this does a lot of recording on his computer, so I'd imagine that probably involves sitting in front of your monitor, and generally single coil pickups don't like computers or monitors, they just buzz. I remember trying to find a buzz for ages before I couldn't understand what it was working. It's because my laptop was sitting in front of me and it's like, I also noticed it before when I used to teach guitar. I used to have a wee BB blaster, a 10 watt amp, and I'd sit on it while I was teaching folk how to play the guitar, and I couldn't sit on the amp when I was using single coil pickups because it just buzzed. Humbuckers were alright, and it was alright if I sat across from the amp, but it's just actually sitting on it, you know, when you're only that far away from the amp. Okay. So your guitar's ready. Fun stuff on the Samarium Noiseless Cobalt pickups. I reckon probably do sound more like single coils than normal stacked pickups do. But they still don't quite have that. I think maybe the noise is part of that sound. What I'm hearing, you know, when you get like the pure brittle. That you get from single coils, and same degree P90s. Actually, I swapped P90s in one of this guy's guitars before as well, and he put in really expensive ones. I wasn't that impressed with. For me, part of the P90 sound is all the noise and it's pure sharp and whereas when you put the stacked one, if I put stacked ones in, they were really expensive ones as well. I don't know. I'm not sure they were bare knuckle. I think they were something else. I think they were handmade ones. They looked fantastic, but to me, and I think they were louder and more powerful and more grown up sounding, but they didn't have that the bite that the ones I took out it had. They're now in my area Thor. Those P90s, they sound fantastic. So rock on. I don't have anything to trade for Tuesday yet. Well, I've got things. I might put them on tonight. Normally Sunday night is my night for putting stuff on Facebook Marketplace, but I'm doing this the live streams now, so I really need to put it on after the live stream because I don't want to put it up live and then be getting beeped while folk are asking questions or, you know, wanting to buy the guitar, especially if I've got a guitar up and it's like someone doesn't answer for 2 hours because doing a live stream doesn't seem a bit right. It seems a bit off. So maybe put some stuff up for sale 9 or 10 o'clock. Maybe I need to rethink that. Maybe I put I'll work out how I'm going to do it. Anyhow, rock on. Catch you later. And imagine what fun I'm having today, because today is Sunday, but it'll be Monday when you watch it. Tomorrow hopefully I'm a wee bit of an excursion. Catch you later.